guys, how's it going? My name is Ollie and welcome to Ollie's Opinion. A few of you regulars to the channel might remember this was a little series I trialled towards the end of last year. I put out one episode and it was very much a learning curve. The audio wasn't great and there was a few flaws here and there, but 2021, new year, gonna try this again. I'm hoping to make this a weekly series. I do want to get content out for you quite often, and hopefully this can be the kind of springboard for that to start to get the content out of the woodwork. I'm going to try and get fans involved, both in the videos, giving me their opinions on the topics, and also choosing topics that you want me to talk about. So yeah, real emphasis on fan interaction. I'm going to be focusing a bit more on general football topics and kind of leave the county-based topics to some separate videos, which I am also working on. And yeah, very excited for the future, very excited to be doing these videos. So we're going to get into the first Ollie's Opinion. So for the first episode of Ollie's Opinions, we're going to be focusing on VAR. What VAR is, how it works, how it's affected the games, what kind of reception it's had, what the issues are, and kind of try and wrap it up and tell you guys how I would improve VAR and what little fixes I would make to try and make it a better system, because I think we can all agree that VAR as it is isn't great. So we're going to kind of cover it in three different topics. We can look at what VAR is and how it works, and what the kind of function of VAR is within the sport. And we're going to look at the issues with VAR and how it's been received by the fans. And then I'm going to give you my little Ollie's opinion, talk about how I would fix it, what changes I would make and how I would make it better. And then finish off with a few opinions from you guys. I've just realised that's 4 sections, but yeah, it's kind of a nice little structure to the video. So focus on what VAR actually is, how it works, talk about the issues around it. Then I'll give you my opinion, what my 3 fixes for VAR would be, and then talk to you guys, see what you think about VAR and maybe how you would fix it. So for the first section of this video, we're going to be focusing on what VAR is and how VAR works. So for those of you who are lucky enough to not know what VAR is or VAR, it basically stands for Video Assistant Referees. It was brought in 2018 by the International Football Association Board to kind of minimise the human error in football, try and take all of the dodgy decisions out and make football a bit, what's the word for it? A bit less mistakey, if that's the word you want to use. So that video assisted referees, VAR will kind of look at 4 areas or 4 incidents in the game, and it'll be goals, whether they should stand or whether they're not goals. Penalty situations, should a penalty be awarded, should a penalty not have been awarded. Cards, usually this will be if a red card is needed, or if VAR thinks a yellow card should be maybe stepped up to a red. And the final one is mistaken identity, in the rare occasion that a referee will give a yellow card to the wrong player. Kind of think of the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Kieran Gibbs situation a few years ago. So yeah, that's essentially what VAR is and what the kind of concept of it is. How VAR actually works, as I've mentioned, it'll check for goals, it'll check for any potential cards, any potential penalties, and try and make sure that the referee is given the right punishment or rewards to the right players. The kind of structure of the board you'll always see on the televised games is these 4 VAR officials. You have the head referee, who will be conducting the review of all the incidents, watching back the footage in slow motion with several different angles, and he's the one who will communicate to the referee the decision of the VAR board, and whether a change needs to occur or whether the thing can stand. Then they'll usually have 2 or 3 assistant VAR refs who will kind of create a backlog of incidents for the head VAR to look at once any ongoing checks are out of the way. So that's kind of how the VAR board work. They're usually set up in a separate room, kind of away from the ground, but it's a very clean system. The communication really works. As I mentioned, the head VAR will kind of watch all the incidents, whether a player is offside or whether the ball's crossed the line. He's got loads of different angles he can look at, and ultimately he is the one who will report the decision to the referee of the actual match, and whether things need to stay the same or whether they need to be overturned. So that's just a nice little brief kind of description of what VAR is and how it works within the game. So the second part of the video, we're going to talk about the reception VAR has had from football fans, and kind of what the big issues in it are. On the whole, the reception of VAR has been quite negative. Many fans don't like it because they feel like it removes a lot of debate from football. Usually after a game, you'd look at 5 or a handful of situations and go, yeah, that should have been a penalty, or maybe we got lucky with that offside, etc., etc. So it removes the debate and kind of a lot of conversation around the football match. It also comes out with quite a lot of incorrect decisions, which we will touch on in a second. And finally, fans feel like they can't celebrate goals because a goal will go in and then they have to wait 5-10 seconds for VAR to look at it, and they don't even know whether VAR is going to chalk it off and say, oh, the display was offside, you can't celebrate the goal. So there's a lot of negative reception around VAR and what it's trying to do within the sport. I did mention that VAR has come up with quite a few incorrect decisions, and I'm going to go over 2 kind of what I would class as high-profile incidents where VAR has brought back an incorrect decision. The first one is Johnny Otto versus Liverpool in December 2019. I'll put a photo of what happened up here. Essentially, Liverpool was 1-0 up. Leeds was looking to equalise. Johnny Otto was kind of just inside the Liverpool box, flicks on towards Pedro Neto, and Neto scored, and it looks like Wolves have equalised. Turns out that Johnny Otto was offside, and it does look like he's offside by an armpit. It was crazy. It was kind of one of the biggest incidents and incorrect decisions VAR has created at the time, and especially on social media, there was a lot of not just Wolves fans, but a lot of neutral fans going into meltdown, saying that it's a stupid situation and it's a stupid goal to be choked off. The second incident we're going to look at then is Patrick Bamford versus Crystal Palace in December just gone. Again, I'll put a photo of the VAR decision here. Very similar to that Wolves game. Crystal Palace went 1-0 up. Patrick Bamford in the 90th minute, he's looking to equalise. He's literally on the edge of the Crystal Palace box, pointing out his run. Ball gets played into him and he scores. VAR runs it back and says, no, look, they're offside by an arm, which, given the offside rule, meaning you can only be offside by a part of the body you can score with, for example, a foot or a head. It created a lot of confusion, not just for fans, but Patrick Bamford after the match said that he didn't understand why it was chalked off, and the referee didn't even know. So if the players and the referees don't know why offside calls are being made, how are the fans meant to know? It's all a bit crazy. It's all a bit stupid. And I'm going to try and come up with 3 points of how I would fix VAR. So then, what's my opinion on VAR? How would I fix it? And kind of what would make VAR a better system in my eyes. First off, I think the actual concept of VAR, being able to remove all the human errors, the blatant offsides or goals that should have happened, I think it's good. The way it's been brought into the game, the way it's been implemented isn't great. There's kind of three areas I focused on in terms of fixes and what I would do to make VAR a better system. First things first, clear offside rule. As we've seen in the two high profile incidents, there's no clear offside rule. It seems like it's interpretation for referees and VAR and whatnot. Here's what I would do. The FA, the Premier League and the International Football Association Board, the people who brought VAR in, need to sit down and create one clear rule for offside. Don't leave it to all this like a margin of 1 mil. Make it a clear rule. Make it so they're only offside by a foot or a head or something like that. Just make it a lot more clear, a lot more refined and understandable. What VAR needs to be and what the rules of football needs to be is clear and understandable. Because if a player and the referee can't understand the rule, then the game is totally gone. Trial this new rule at Euro 21. It's a perfect kind of situation to do it. You're going to have fans from all across the world watching the Euros. It's the perfect time to implement this new rule, and it will give fans the time to understand what an offside is, what's not classed as offside, and it'll allow for any like little flaws to be ironed out before the 2021-22 season. So there, fix number one, clear offside rule. Fix number two, allow the fans to hear the conversation between the referee of the match and the video assistant referee. Ultimately, football is the game for the fans, funded by the fans, played for the fans. It is the fans' game. And for fans to not be able to know what decisions are being made and what's being contested is a total injustice, if you ask me. Put a speaker in the stadium which allows fans to hear what the referees are disputing, what kind of incident they're focusing on, and how to actually come to this decision. Because then it'll make the complaints a lot more based on information. When we make a complaint about VAR, everyone's kept in the dark. Nobody knows how it works. If fans can hear the conversation between the two referees, it'll give everyone a lot more information and hopefully make the picture a lot more clear. And it's not a hard system to implement. It's something you can do. Over in the Australian leagues, all their referees and all their VARs are all mic'd up and the fans can hear them. So why can't we do this in the Premier League, the greatest league in the world? So there, fix number two, allow the fans to hear what conversations are going on between the ref and the video assistant referee. And the final one is get rid of all this overturning decisions by VAR. Let the referee make the decision. Okay, the VAR referee can analyse it and give his opinion, but ultimately I think the referee should go over to the monitor on the side of the pitch and look at the situation and let him make the decision. Because with video assistant referees, I feel like it undermines the actual referee. It doesn't make it kind of fair. He should have the most power in this situation. He should go over to the monitor, he should look at it, he should decide, because ultimately it's his job. The only negative I can see in that is it might make the game a bit more choppy and the pace of the game might be slowed down. But ultimately, if it's going to come back with a correct decision, I'd much rather that. So there, fix number three, in my opinion, is let the referees of the actual match go to the monitor and make their own decision. So finally, I just want to wrap it up with a little fan interaction section. So on the Amber Army Facebook page and the Amber Army Twitter account, I put out a little post asking you guys for your thoughts and opinions on VAR and kind of what needs to be done to make VAR better. So we're going to start off with Facebook. I picked out 2 comments on there. First one comes from Phil Morris. He says, I believe that an ex-player should also be involved with the referee looking at VAR. This is something I agree with. Ex-players will have a better understanding of the game and what looks to be offside and what is, especially with handballs, this whole deliberate and natural positioning. An ex-defender will know what kind of position or what kind of situation is offside or a handball. So yeah, I agree with Al. Ex-players could make the VAR board a lot more well informed when they make their decisions. So good one from you, Phil. Get some ex-players on that VAR board. Second one comes in from Gloria O'Connell. She says, I am against VAR to many different decisions made for the same offences. Leave it to the ref. Yes, you may get decisions wrong, but it works out over time. Spoils the game. Love goal technology. Keep that. Scrap VAR. I can see where Gloria is coming from. Yes, lots of decisions are being made incorrect, and the referee will get some incorrect decisions through human error. But I think with VAR, it needs some time to get on his feet and kind of let the flaws come up to the surface so they can be ironed out, and then we can hopefully get to a stage where VAR is better and it's not making the same amount of errors as a human referee would. So yeah, very good contribution from you, Gloria. Over on Twitter, at the Amber Army, put out the same post on there. Liam Jones said, I think we should keep it, but it needs changing massively. Also glad we don't have it in League 2. Got to agree there with Liam. The way that VAR is in the English league is an absolute travesty. And it's a good thing that we don't have it there. But I think he's right. We do keep it, but it needs changing massively. And I think this summer will be fundamental for those changes. Then the second one from Twitter, it's a very good comment there. Basically an idiot named TJ, which I love. He says, I think it's very good. I'm from the US and I watch plenty of MLS games and it's used very well over here. My opinion is Premier League referees feel like they're too good for it, so they intentionally bog down the system. They also go too far. A player's toe being offside isn't clearly obvious and should be allowed. You shouldn't need multiple lines overlaid on the field and zoom in to see it. And that's something I agree with a lot. VAR is used in other leagues other than the Premier League. It's used in MLS, and as TJ says, it's used quite well over there. It does improve the MLS a lot. And I do very much agree with him. Players being offside by a toe, or the 2 incidents we've looked at where Johnny Otto's offside by an armpit and Bamford's offside by a hand, it's decisions that wouldn't be picked up on by a referee. And I do understand that VAR is trying to remove that, but I feel like the margin should be, give a bit of leeway to a striker. Let the margin kind of favour them a bit, because it'll make the game more entertaining. So yeah, really agree with TJ. MLS works in other leagues. It's not working over here because the rules are stupid, and ultimately the officials using it are a bit stupid. So yeah, thanks everyone for your contributions. Really great to see you guys comment, and really great to get some fan interaction on the channel. So guys, that's it for the first episode of the new Ollie's Opinions. As always, a massive thank you to the people who have contributed on the Twitter and Facebook posts. If you do want to be involved in the fan interactions for the next Ollie's Opinion, don't forget to go to the Amber Army on Facebook and Twitter. I'll put up the posts on those 2 platforms before I put any videos out, because I do want to get some fan interaction going. If you did enjoy the video, go down, drop a like. Let's see if we can hit 10 likes on this video, kind of set little targets and see how much you enjoy these kind of videos. Do subscribe to the channel because it does really help us out. Let's see if we can hit 4,000 subscribers before the end of the season. We're 600 away in, a few months, so let's see if we can get to 4,000 before the season is over. Nice little promotion present for us, I reckon. Do leave a comment. What did you think about VAR? And also, what did you think about the video? What changes would you like to see made to the videos? What topics would you like to see? And yeah, any constructive criticism is very much appreciated. Do share the video if you did enjoy it. Let's build up this community a bit more. And as I mentioned, let's get some more subscribers coming in. But I think that is it for today. So thank you for watching the video. And as always, up the county.
Many thanks for watching the latest content on the Amber Army channel. Please make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe for more content, both for the neutral football fan and also plenty of Newport County. Even more Newport County content can be found on the club's iFollow channel on the link above. It is just £4.49 per month to subscribe to that service. And those of you feeling extra generous can also support us on Patreon on the link at the bottom there. That would be a monthly donation of your choice. Thank you again, make sure you've subscribed, and as always, up the county.